So we have.
Oh, what was that, Walt Gray?
Look over here.
Walt's just being
Playing
dumb.
around.
He's talking about Cornelia.
Just talking about Cornelia. So welcome to Extra Shot, everyone. Walt Gray likes to refer to it as
The View.
Yes.
The View.
I'm the token guy on The View today.
And if you saw that graphic pop up on your screen right before this, since you're watching us on Facebook Live right now, you made the graphic. Your face did.
Wow. How did that happen?
Big leagues. Well, isn't
Yeah.
the big leagues on The View?
I made it to the varsity. I'm not usually allowed on this show.
You're a JV kid?
Yeah, I'm only here because Rob's busy.
Stop it. That's not true.
Yeah, it
we
is.
put it out there when
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
the third girl isn't here. It's always one of us.
You're the honorary girl.
Come on.
You know when
You're
I
the
get
honorary girl.
You know when I get on the show, there's like a lot of vacations going on, and people are sick or have been let go or something.
Isn't true. Well,
But
today
then you have to be the permanent girl. Do you want to be the
Alright.
permanent girl?
I can play.
Or even the honorary
I'll
girl?
play the girl role.
he'll
Okay.
play it. No, you just be you. Let's talk about
All right.
topless women
Okay.
in Berkeley.
All right.
So there's
that
this-
scares me a little bit
Uh-oh.
Let's get into the details. Let's hear from the people at
because
Berkeley.
you said Berkeley.
Yeah, let's hear
If
from
you
the
said
people at
topless
Berkeley.
in San Juan, or we're looking at LA or something,
It'd be a little different.
I don't know. It just scared me a little bit.
Okay, well, women at Berkeley, University of Berkeley, right?
Cal.
Cal State University.
No, University of California, Berkeley.
Hello.
Yeah, UC.
I went to
Megan went
USC
to
over here, a little
USC,
private
Wow.
university down
That just
south.
shows me as a USC grad how much you hate the Cal Bears.
Yeah.
That's what it
It's
shows
a lot
me.
of competition. Yeah, there is a lot of competition there. Anyways, the women on campus are saying fair is fair. Men can walk around with their nipples showing. Women should be able to do the same thing. So let's go ahead and hear from some of the women on campus to hear their opinions.
We were born naked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Our nipples were showing when we were born, so what's wrong with that?
I feel like for me it might be uncomfortable, but it'd be, on the really hot days, it might be nice for some people.
I do think that there are lines, and and I don't know, I'm not afraid to say the line that I would draw, and one line that I would draw is that, no, keep your bra on and your shirt on.
Okay, so you hear differing opinions there from women. Berkeley City Council is going to vote soon on whether or not this should happen. So one council member is speaking out on this. Let's go ahead and hear from him.
I just don't think Berkeley should be defining women are not allowed and men are allowed.
Chris Worthington. So he's saying basically that, yeah, women, we shouldn't put those standards on them. If they want to go about and walking around topless, so be it. Now people are even pushing the envelope more and saying, well, wait a minute, if we're born nude, shouldn't we be like that all the time? We can be in our birthday suits if we want. So now we'll see where that goes. But do you think there is a line that needs to be in the sand and drawn and saying, okay, I don't care regardless of gender, you need to have your clothes on?
I think you just said it all. I think you're good, right? Is that it? I think you can leave it just like that.
That was it. Well, and I said this to Megan when we were talking about this early this morning on Morning Blend.
5 to 7 a.m. weekday mornings.
Out of everything that's going on right now, everything that's going on, girl, you just trying to take your shirt off. Like there's a Hurricane Harvey. Irma is on the way. People are going back and forth about our current administration. Rules and policy, laws are on the table, getting changed back and forth.
DACA.
Flint still don't got clean drinking water. Girl, and you talking about taking your bra off at school.
But it's about gender equality.
I get it.
And as females, I get it. Would I choose to walk around school topless? No. I would see that as a distraction. I know as a feminist, I'm a proud feminist, but at some point, you can have boundaries within feminism, right? And for me, that's just not something I'm interested in. But are these women trying to make a point that men and women are equal? Sure. Yes. Do I see that being topless as, for me, as a form of equality? Not necessarily. Listen, I can take my shirt off if I want and do my thing and go around and what I'm saying is no one's sitting here saying no you can't.
Well, I think you'd be arrested for indecent exposure in most cities and towns in America.
Sure.
Guys wouldn't. There's just a difference between men and women that way. Now you got to remember this story is out of Berkeley.
What is that? You keep saying
Berkeley, the
Liberal,
nickname. I mean,
got it.
It's a different place. they like different rules. They like to be different.
And
I
push the
think
boundaries,
And I think in some ways, Davis is like that too. I've always looked at Davis as kind of Berkeley Jr. So, although I don't know that this would be a topic of discussion, the topless thing in Davis, I think that they're certainly more buttoned down than that. But any story, you just look at Berkeley as 1967, and in a lot of ways it stayed the same. There's a lot of guys that should not take their shirt off. There's very few guys that should walk around shirtless.
Right.
So to me, you know, I don't know. I think it's an indecent exposure thing. I just
for
think
women, or you think for some men too? You're saying for people in general?
I just think there's a difference between men and women. I mean, clearly there is.
So maybe no shoes, no shirt, no service should be the
Across
theme
the
across
board.
the board.
You'd have to sell me pretty hard in any town or city in America where people can walk around shirtless no matter what.
Well, let me throw this in there.
I'm not feeling that.
Let me throw this in there. When you deal with situations like sexual assault, sometimes you get the conversation where it goes like, well, you shouldn't have wore that short skirt, or what you had on, you deserved it. And some women or some men and people in general get the idea that even when you're fully clothed, some people can't control themselves. And I put that in air quotes because that's just a bigger conversation. So with that said, and knowing that that conversation is still in place regarding women's clothing and what they wear and how you're perceived, and when stuff happens to you that is inappropriate, people kind of use that against you. Should we even be having a discussion about being topless for women? And I understand gender equality. I'm just throwing it out there for the sake of the conversation and what we see happening already surrounding attire and what people deem appropriate and things that happen as a result.
Right.
How could I be out to coffee with you both and you're both topless? What, I mean, how am I going to carry on a decent conversation without being like, so
societal
anyway,
norms, right?
Okay, what were we talking about?
Right,
you know?
right.
I don't know.
But culturally,
we
in certain cultures, it's still okay to be topless.
Where, in Nairobi?
Well, and it's maybe certain parts of South America,
cultural thing,
certain parts of Africa. But so is it that we as Americans,
we're different.
Have put the stigma on wearing or not being topless?
I think the French think we're kind of hung up on a lot of stuff. They're a little more free with
like what?
With
It's just
sex
skin and a nipple,
and they're like, they would be looking at this as, what is your problem? You Americans are so hung up on stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it depends on where you are. I think. I don't know. I just if I'm going to Berkeley and I'm taking my daughter to college and I'm driving down the street and everybody's topless, I don't know. Maybe that's my problem because that's where they live. I'm visiting where they live.
Right.
Maybe I should not go there because that's their territory.
And we're getting a lot of comments about this.
Right. I figured as much.
Alexander, bring on the topless. Way to go, Alexander. How
Ruben
predictable.
Says, we're totally equal, but there are better ways to show it than take off your clothes. Janet Piper, whatever happened to morality? I don't get it.
That left about 22 years ago.
Ray Kemp says, this is not about gender equality. Men and women cannot live under the same rules. Some things must apply differently to each gender. And then,
what's John say? John Westoby. Let's
John
have Megan topless now.
John is notorious for being a little doing too much
hey,
in
John,
the comments.
clean it up.
John, you need to.
And see, that's where this is such a deep-rooted conversation because that's where it comes into play, right? This whole idea that being topless is seen as a sexual thing. And it's a cultural thing here in America. It's like, ooh, boobs. And men talk about boobs. If you're a straight man, that's attractive. It's the same way I wouldn't be comfortable. I think to me it's a comfortability factor. I wouldn't be comfortable walking around like that, not because I'm not comfortable with my own body, but because I'm not comfortable with the way in which people would perceive it. Like John Angel Westboy would like, ooh, yeah, boobies, and see it as a sexual thing where I couldn't just sit here and have a conversation with you because you'd be sitting here wanting to look at my chest. Which is inappropriate.
How about your husband, Caesar? Would he be comfortable with you walking around town? I mean,
no,
you have to consider that.
To him,
you consider that as well.
It's a cultural thing, yes. To him, it would be uncomfortable because to him, this is a private zone. This is for our eyes only.
It's Caesar's playground? Is that what you're saying?
Walt Gray, stop it.
Is that what you're saying?
No, but this is what I'm saying is that it is to me a private, personal thing.
Of course.
So I wouldn't be comfortable. But if someone else doesn't see it that way, doesn't see their own body that way, should they be allowed to walk freely around town? I say sure, to each his own, but it's the way in which that is going to be perceived to other people. They have to be ready for that. They have to be ready for, if they're out going to class, sitting there talking to a professor, and the boobs are in the face, for the professor to feel a certain way, and are they going to be comfortable with that? If they are.
No, I don't think so.
Or maybe it's a conversation about maybe
Right.
we're too over-sexualized, because when you see sometimes women breastfeeding, some people can't handle it because they look at
see
that
it as a
automatically
sexual-
as sexual, and they're like,
That's a good point.
you know, so some people can't handle that. Some people can't handle us wearing skirts on this show.
And they'll say like, ooh, your legs, and they get
Right.
hot and bothered. It's sort of like, this is a skirt, like this is the bottom half of my leg. And so yes, you're right in saying that. But it's the same way would I want a male, if we're talking about taking it to the next level and going completely nude, I wouldn't be comfortable with a guy, whether it be my husband or not, going
Yeah.
around and you sitting here without your pants on.
I
To
would-
me,
I don't
that's
wanna
a
see-
private
I don't want
area.
to see-
Again,
with his pants
hey,
off.
I can say, Cornelia, what do you mean by that? I would not want to be doing that. You don't want to be doing. Now, would I take my shirt off? Maybe in 10 pounds, you'll see me take my
But
shirt
see, that's
off.
a
but
body
not
image
today.
conversation.
Of course it is. And I'll tell you what, when some other town, in addition to Berkeley, starts doing this, then I think it's a story. But the fact that it's Berkeley, it doesn't surprise me.
But I hear-
nothing out of Berkeley surprises
But
me.
is it a something that they've acquired over the years to say, oh, it's such a liberal place? Because I hear, from my understanding and doing research, that there's a large conservative population that attends liberal as well, or attends
I don't
Berkeley as
know.
well.
I don't know that conservative population in Berkeley pops their head out much for fear. But I would say if you want to pick the most liberal town in America, and you said Berkeley, you wouldn't be too far from that.
Okay, so bottom line, we're saying that we're just going to sit and wait and see what
Yeah.
happens here.
Knock
Because I think it's
yourselves out.
interesting. I think good for the women who've stepped up to try to create this change. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
It's created a challenge.
And it's starting a conversation.
Yep.
Definitely.
All right.
An uncomfortable conversation where I think all of us have to sit back and go, where do we stand on this? Where do you stand? Keep the conversation flowing. Okay,